Hey, so welcome to a different kind of video, I guess. Today, and actually tomorrow, I'm going to be driving my Insight out to the Vancouver area to pick up a new front bumper for the S2000. So those that don't know, the Honda Insight is known to be like really good on fuel. Typically, I've been averaging about anywhere between 1,000 to 1,100 kilometers on a tank. So if we look here, my destination is 938 kilometers away from me. Just topped off the tank, so we're at a full tank right now. Yeah, it should be interesting because I haven't really driven it through the mountains very much. And those of you that are familiar with the route between Calgary and Vancouver, the roads can get pretty high in elevation, lots of climb, so we'll see how this little girl does. She does struggle on hills, so I imagine I'm going to be with the hazards on behind all the semis, etc. But yeah, so I'll kind of keep you guys updated along the way, and we'll see how things go. So those of you that have owned a Honda Insight or have driven one will understand this. But so if you see, we're going 111 kilometers an hour, but then if you look actually GPS wise, we're going about 106, 105. So the interesting thing is, I think stock Honda Insight tire sizing, if you run that, your speedometer actually reads a little bit quick. So in reality, you're going slower than than the speedometer is actually telling you. I don't know if Honda did that intentionally just to, you know, help drivers save fuel, because technically the slower you're going, the better gas mileage you're getting. But yeah, it was one thing that I noticed when I started highway driving this car more, was that, okay, you know, I'm going to drive it kind of normally, drive it at the speed limit, but everyone's still passing you, and then remember checking the GPS data, and I'm like, oh, well, that's probably why, because technically I'm always driving under the speed limit. But yeah, just a fun fact that I figured I'd share with you guys. So although the drive out to Vancouver is a longer one, you pass through some beautiful scenery. So we're just coming up on Banff National Park, which is about an hour away from Calgary. So yeah, lots of scenic views throughout this drive. Started to rain a little bit, wind's picking up, which isn't great because this car struggles in the wind, but we'll see how we do. We're coming up at about roughly a 2-hour mark, just entering British Columbia. So this is where Banff National Park actually transitions into Yoho National Park. So we're officially in BC. We crossed into British Columbia. Have about 8 hours and 12 minutes according to the GPS, but I feel like it's going to be longer. Yeah, the car's already actually gone through one battery cycle for the hybrid battery system. And we're already a little bit lower. So yeah, should be probably going to be slow goings on some of the uphill sections. That's okay. Should get there, no problem. Yeah, it is still raining. It was sprinkling initially when I did that last clip, and then it just started raining a bit harder. It's still not too bad. Roads are still okay, but I know rain isn't really the best for fuel economy, but it'll be all right. I think we should still be doing okay. Looks like we just dropped 1 tick on our fuel gauge. As you all know, kind of typical earlier Hondas, like 90s and early 2000s Hondas, they don't really drop their fuel gauge until you hit a little bit. So yeah, roughly we have a little under 200 kilometers on the tank so far, and just basically lost our first tick of the gas gauge. So yeah, I'll keep you updated on how things go. Yeah, should be interesting. We should see a lot more uphill sections, so hopefully the car doesn't struggle too bad. Luckily, getting into Yoho, it's a downhill section, so we've been given a chance to recharge the battery, save some fuel. Literally as I recorded the last clip, I think towards the end, it dropped down another tick, so that's okay. Yeah, we're officially just hitting the 200K mark. As you can see, the rain's letting up a bit. It's actually looking really nice in the mountains right now. I always feel like coming into the British Columbia side, it's a lot greener. But yeah, so should be a lot more of these beautiful views coming up. Alright, so just took a quick bio break and had a quick little muffin, thanks to my wife. We're about 700 kilometers left, 7.5 hours. I'm just at the Kicking Horse rest area, and honestly, if you're traveling through Highway 1, I would highly recommend this one. It looks like, I don't know if you can really see, it just looks like one of the typical washrooms that are like just like the pit toilets, essentially just fancy outhouses. But this one actually, it's full plumbing. They even have like a water cooler inside there, so for you to grab water and stuff like that, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, so highly recommend this area if you need to take a bio break or just want to stretch out and basically just move around a bit if you've been sitting in the car for a bit longer. We're just a little bit ahead of Golden, but I didn't really feel like buying anything to eat or anything like that because I have a bunch of snacks thanks to my wife, so we'll just get going again. So just before Golden, they're actually twinning the highway. So this used to be just a single undivided highway, but they're actually changing it to a 4-lane system, so it's gonna be 2 on each side. They've been doing construction here for years, I feel like. Well, maybe not years, but at least a few years. But actually just earlier in May, they had actually closed the section down completely because they were working on a lot of different projects here, so they just didn't want anything open to traffic. Did notice driving here right now that it looks like from Sunday to Thursday nights, so like starting from like 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. they actually do close the highway down to public, so you have to detour around. That detour, I believe, adds quite a bit to the trip. I don't know if it's the same detour that they had when they were when they had this section closed down, but if it is the same, if you're kind of coming from Calgary to Vancouver area, you're adding basically an hour and a half to your drive. So what would normally be like a 10.5 hour drive, basically add an additional hour and a half on top of that. So going there and back, you're extra 3 hours of driving, which really wasn't too worth it for me. So that's why I kind of waited until this weekend to go. But it's pretty crazy how much like engineering and construction feat that they have here, because you're essentially twinning a highway alongside of a clipped area. But yeah, so you can see tons of construction equipment and stuff like that. But yeah, pretty cool to see, pretty neat. This should be really awesome when they're done the construction, because it's always a choke point here in Golden. Even before they had the construction, this road is very tight, and yeah, single lane, so if you get stuck behind a semi with a big load, then you're kind of going pretty slow. So yeah, that should be pretty sweet when it's all finished. Is that a Supra? Damn, that's cool. I wish I had something that fun to drive. Little FRS here too. I'm not gonna lie, inside's not too bad, but it's not an actual sports car. I wish I had my S2000. We have this pretty cool looking STI hatch. Well, it's pretty sweet to see the kind of traffic that you see under these drives. Ways of undivided highways, currently sandwiched with a ton of traffic up ahead. So earlier I was saying when those sports cars past me, like the Supra, the STI, and the FRS. I was like, oh, it'd be pretty fun to have my S2000 with me. I just passed a section of construction where it was literally just completely unpaved and dirt. So yeah, I probably would have destroyed the S2000 if I had it with me. So I guess I'm thankful that I'm taking the Insight. Not that the S2000 would have really suited the purpose for this trip anyways, but yeah, just figured I would drop that tidbit. And also, I've seen, I think so far, 4 people on like bicycles going the opposite way, and like there's some gnarly hills on this section, so mad props to them. You know, they're doing like the whole cross-country style trekking with the saddlebags and everything. Like, and I swear, like the youngest person that I've seen is probably like in their 50s. So major props to anybody that does that. That's pretty crazy determination and like just endurance and strength to do something like that. Never would I think of ever doing that, and I enjoy biking, but not, I guess, that long distance grueling stuff. But yeah, just figure I thought I'd give a little update. I guess in terms of mileage right now, just over, a little over 300 kilometers. We're down to about maybe 3/4 of a tank, maybe a little bit more than that. So I'm hopeful that we can actually make it all the way. So we'll see. Keep you guys updated on the progress. So we just entered Glacier National Park. It's basically just west of Yoho and where Golden is. So we're back to another 90 zone, but that should be okay. It'll give the Insight a chance to kind of rest a bit. There was a section just after Golden. I think kind of I had a clip there of the undivided highway and how crowded it can get. But there was a section for about, I don't know, 15 kilometers that was completely open. Divided dual lane, so thankfully got to go past a lot of the traffic there. There's a U-Haul towing a car in front of me, so you can see there's a few other cars. We're all kind of getting held up by this, but that's okay. It should be just cruising. I guess another thing, I don't think I mentioned it in the video so far, but I think when I was going through Yoho, not I think, but it was through Yoho, I saw a black bear on the side of the road. Obviously, I didn't get the camera in time to record anything, but pretty cool to see some wildlife and not deer or moose that are gonna jump out into the front of the car and kind of potentially cause a bad day. Yeah, so typically through all the national parks in Canada, the speed limit is 90 kilometers an hour, so it'll be a little bit more relaxed through here. Currently, through my GPS, it says that I'll be arriving to my buddy's house in Port Coquitlam at around 4:20. So we're actually making decent time, considering I had a quick little pit stop at that rest area just to relieve myself and have a quick snack. So I think Kamloops is about 300 kilometers ahead. So I think I'll probably take a quick break there, have some lunch that I packed, and then get back going again. I'll probably just make a few little clips and updates along the way. Not gonna lie, this drive is definitely not too bad, just given how great the scenery is here. So yeah, can't complain about that. Weather is pretty nice. It's not raining anymore, so it's dry. There's barely any wind, so should be pretty good cruising weather for the Insight. Yeah, so we should be getting pretty decent fuel economy as well, which is kind of the whole point of the trip. I guess I don't think I explained in the beginning, but I did say that I was picking up a front bumper for my S2000. Main reason why I'm traveling to Vancouver to pick it up is I bought it secondhand off of someone in Seattle, and luckily he had some, I guess, his daughter's godparents or something like that in the Vancouver area. So he dropped it off there, and that same weekend, luckily my buddy Mario, he was moving out there. So he did me a huge favor, picked up the bumper, and it's been storing out at his place for the past, I think, month and a half. So really thankful for him. I'm gonna be crashing with him, and yeah, in Port Coquitlam. So yeah, shipping that bumper from Seattle was prohibitively expensive. Typically anything shipping from the US to Canada or vice versa is gonna be pretty expensive. But even shipping from Vancouver was quite expensive. I think it was like in the $400 to $500 range. So I figured, you know what, why not bomb in the inside over there on a quick weekend trip, pick it up, and then come back and see what kind of fuel economy we can get. Yeah, kind of, I guess, again, a little bit of an update. We haven't really done that much more mileage. We're at about 320 kilometers right now, and still sitting, yeah, 4 ticks down, so a little over 3/4 of a tank. So I'm hoping to, I think that it's realistic to make the entire trip on a single tank. But then, yeah, I guess we'll see how much more we could potentially go on that remaining fuel tank if we do make it there without having to fill up. So yeah, that's the main reason why I'm going to Vancouver and why I'm in the Insight. That's kind of why, actually, you look, I don't have my passenger seating just to maximize the space to put the bumper in. So yeah, I'm going to try to pass this U-Haul before this passing lane ends, and I will see you guys in the next clip. So I definitely knew this was going to be one of the tougher sections. So this is Rogers Pass. It's a pretty big climb here. So I'm currently in third and struggling to maintain even the speed limit. Just dropping down to 70 now, so should be fine. But yeah, almost completely drained out the hybrid battery. So, but it looks like we're yeah, at the peak now. So we'll probably make a slow descent, give the chance for the batteries to recharge, and prepare for the next uphill section. Absolutely sad thing is my headlights are on, but they're really barely doing anything. Car's factory lights aren't really that bright. This tunnel's pretty dark. It doesn't really show it that well on camera, but yeah, maybe that's why. It needs to be completely pitch black before I can actually tell a difference that the headlights are making. Also saw another black bear. Kind of crazy that I've seen 2 already on this drive so far, but yeah, pretty cool. So this is the summit of Rogers Pass, but it looks like it's closed right now. It's kind of a cool place to check out because this is the highest peak, I believe, at on the highway here. So now we begin our descent. Time to charge the batteries again. Entering Revelstoke. So just past Revelstoke and it's raining again. Actually, it's starting to lighten up a bit. I think it's going to be kind of on and off rain probably the rest of the way, because I believe in Vancouver it's supposed to be raining the entire weekend. Not ideal, but that's okay. Free car wash. Through the Okanagan section right now, and obviously I just started recording too late, so you might be able to catch a glimpse here. So there's tons of lakes in this area, so it's a really popular spot, especially in the summertime, for people to come out and go houseboating, etc. I've never been, but I have lots of friends who have, and it seems like a really popular spot to do that. Weather here right now is super nice. I guess a status update, roughly about halfway in through the drive. I think a little bit more than halfway. Almost at 500 kilometers, about 490 right now. And we're still a little bit above half a tank. There's a couple ticks, so I think we should be able to make it all the way to Port Coquitlam on the single tank. But we'll see. The last big challenge, I think, for the car is going to be is a pretty intense highway with lots of climbs, so I think that might be the toughest part, but after that we'll kind of see where we sit. So yeah, stay tuned. I'll probably be taking a break in Kamloops, which is about 140 kilometers away from here, so about maybe another hour and 20 minutes. So yeah, probably see you. So I was going to take a break in Kelowna, no, sorry, not Kelowna, Kamloops, but didn't really feel like going off the highway. Felt like I was making good progress, and I didn't really feel like I needed to take a break right away, so I kept going. We're currently on the Coquihalla right now. For those of you that know, that's Highway 5 in BC. I think we're just starting on the downhill section. The uphill section actually wasn't too bad. I kept it in third. The hybrid battery was depleted pretty quickly for assist, so kept it in third at about like between 3,000 and 4,500 RPM. It's going about 90-95 kilometers an hour. But it wasn't actually that bad. So yeah, currently I think, yeah, we still have a few more uphill sections to go, as you can see ahead, but should be good. Currently saying I have 3 hours left. We are almost a little under 700 kilometers on this tank so far, and I have about a third left, so I think we should be good all the way to Port Coquitlam. But yeah, I'll probably give you guys an update when I actually stop, because I probably will need a pee somewhat soon. So I can't remember off the top of my head what the summit elevation for Rogers Pass was. I know that one's pretty high, but just past the sign on the Coquihalla that the summit here is 1,444 meters. So fairly high in elevation. Sport car doesn't have much horsepower to begin with. I think insights are rated at around 78 horsepower combined with the electric motor. So it's probably a lot less at this elevation, at this mileage, and at this age. But still tripping along. Currently right now it's a little bit of a flatter section, so we can actually go a little bit closer to the speed limit. The Coquihalla section, so the speed limit is 120 kilometers an hour. I am speedometer wise going 120, but GPS wise going about 115. So probably just chug along that on the flatter sections here, and then yeah, once it basically gets into a little incline, I usually put it into fourth, and if I start losing speed too much, then we downshift into third. Yeah, still chugging along. Like I mentioned, so we're coming up just under 700 kilometers on this tank so far, and have about a third of the tank left. I have a little under 3 hours to go, or 280 kilometers. So yeah, I think we should be good. This was kind of the biggest climb that I was worried about, and I think we got over the worst of it, seeing how we passed the summit sign. So yeah, from here on it should be fairly easy cruising. I remember the last time I was actually driving through here was last summer, and there were forest fires going on, so it's really nice to see, you know, clear blue skies, you know, through the clouds instead of being smoke covering everywhere. It was pretty bad and sad to see. There were a couple sections next to the highway where it was literally on fire, and they had multiple signs saying like do not stop for whatever reason. So I don't think we're going to be running into any forest fires, thankfully. Yeah, let's keep on trucking along. It's a helicopter with a crane. So just quickly stopped at Coquihalla, I think it's like Lakes, southbound rest area, just for a quick washroom break. So I have a little bit under 2 hours left of the drive, 182 kilometers, sitting at about a quarter tank now, with just under 800 kilometers so far on the tank. I'm pretty confident we should be able to get there, no problem. It's been a long drive and a long day, not gonna lie. I left Calgary at about 6:30 in the morning. It's currently 2:30 BC time, so that'd be 3:30 in Alberta. But yeah, another 2 hours to go, so we'll just kind of keep our head down and get the rest of this drive done. It's really beautiful here through the Coquihalla Highway though. A lot of construction going on, surprisingly, but I guess summer's always usually busy with construction anyways. But yeah, lots of nice mountains, beautiful views. The weather's really nice right now too. So I might have been a little optimistic because I have 90 kilometers left and I'm down to my 2 last ticks on the fuel gauge. Typically I feel like the end of the tank does last a bit longer, but I think we'll be close. Either we just won't make it or we'll make it there with the fuel light on and everything. But yeah, so about an hour away, just basically getting really close to Vancouver now. So let you guys know in about an hour. So we just hit 900 kilometers on the tank so far, and I'm still at the 2 ticks. I have 65 kilometers left on my trip, and since the gas light hasn't come on, maybe we will make it, no problem. Okay, so update. Fuel light just came on. I'm on my last tank of gas, and I have 57 kilometers left to go. Even more bad news for me. I'm down to 0 bars now. I have 30 kilometers left, and we're stuck in traffic. Probably a little too close for comfort, but I made it. Good thing I have jerry cans so I can fill up right away. Well, now's the next day, and I'm heading back to Calgary. Just a short little trip. Thankfully, when I caught in, the weather was actually quite nice. Got to hang out with my buddy Mario. Went to a car meet. Grabbed some download chicken. If you've never been in Vancouver, amazing fried chicken spot. So yeah, so now we're back on the highway, heading back home, and now it decides to rain. When I originally was actually coming here this weekend, it said the forecast was for rain the entire weekend. So thankfully it held up yesterday while I was here, and I don't mind if it's just raining on the way back. So I think I kind of showed in one of my previous clips that, you know, the interior of the car, I had the passenger seat removed, etc. I did actually come with a couple full jerry cans as well, just in case. Thankfully and surprisingly, I didn't actually need them. So I just figured I would throw one into the car. They're just a 10-liter jerry can, so I'm sitting a little over a quarter of a tank right now. And just heading over to Abbotsford. There's a Costco there just to fill up the rest of the tank, and then we'll start making our way home. So yeah, probably not going to be recording too much on the way back, just because it's going to be largely the same as when I was coming here. But if there's anything cool or interesting, I'll try to capture it. I'm most likely not going to be able to make it back to Calgary on a single tank of gas, just because from coming back and then talking to people, the section going east back to Calgary is a lot more uphill, so it's probably going to put a lot more strain on the car in terms of fuel. But we'll see how far we can get. I do have the second 10-liter jerry can, so kind of debating whether I should fill up the empty one at Costco while I'm filling up the car. But I don't think I'll need a tank and a half, essentially. This is a 40-liter tank here, so we'll see when I make that decision. But yeah, just heading out of the city right now. It's currently 7:24. Probably gonna grab a quick little casual breakfast somewhere. I was thinking, oh, maybe I'll grab something at, you know, a Calgary, Vancouver specific spot, but it seemed like any of the decent breakfast places are actually closed right now. It's a little bit too early on a Sunday. So yeah, we'll probably just maybe grab something from fast food or something like that, and then make my way over. So I was kind of doing a little bit of thinking while I'm just driving here. So at Abbotsford, I filled up, and the car actually only took 29 liters. And I mentioned before that the jerry cans that I have, they're 10-liter jerry cans, but But then further thinking about it, the one that I actually used to top off the tank just so I could get to Abbotsford, it probably only had maybe about 9 liters or so in there, because I had actually used it to fill up my lawnmower as well. So it's a little bit crazy, because I think when the gas light came on last night when I was dropping in, I believe I drove about 65 kilometers with that gas light on, and just kind of doing the math in my head, that means there must have been maybe a liter or 2 of fuel still left in the tank. So I know some people might say, oh, like you didn't really get to quote unquote Vancouver because you were only driving to Port Coquitlam. But I think Vancouver, like actual like Metro Vancouver, was only about another 20 kilometers or so. And if the car had basically a couple liters in the tank still, probably could have done another, I don't know, like conservatively speaking 30 kilometers, but possibly even up to like 50 kilometers, because I've been averaging about 4 liters per 100 kilometers so far on this car. So yeah, pretty wild to think about. Just thought I would just mention that. I thought my car was running on fumes by the time I pulled up to my buddy's place, but I guess not. Figured I would do a little status update. We're about a third of the way through the trip. I've got about 6 hours and 45 minutes left. 632 kilometers till I get back home. Just passing through Kelowna right now. So yeah, actually weather is super nice now, like been very sunny, etc. Just stopped at the Costco here quickly for a quick hot dog lunch for $1.50, and we're back on our way. Not that this trip is already expensive anyways, but yeah, just trying to, I guess, take advantage of anything that I can. I was really hoping to have lunch at this cute ramen shop that my wife and I went to last time we were through Kamloops, but unfortunately they're closed today, so figured I would just grab something quick and easy and then just continue bombing my way home. I hadn't really done an update, mainly because it's been relatively uneventful, but just getting into the Yoho and Banff boundaries, so officially entering Alberta again. Got about 2 hours left on the drive. Car's doing great though, like still at a quarter tank, a little over that, so should be able to make it back home no problem, which is a little bit surprising because I thought for sure I'd be using more gas on the way back. I will even admit I think I've been driving kind of just even more normal on my way back, like trying to maintain the speed limit everywhere I'm going, etc. So yeah, it's interesting to see. I guess maybe the uphill sections weren't as bad as I thought. Yeah, a little over 2 hours to go, but yeah, just the final stretch home. Okay, so I realized I think all of the video clips that I did were just inside the car. So yeah, here's the inside. It's a little wet, a little dirty, but it's okay. All intact, so that was the main thing that mattered. But yeah, surprisingly, made it into Calgary on a single tank of gas as well, with actually more to spare than when I was going into Vancouver. So the uphill sections must have not been as bad as I thought they were going to be. But yeah, I made it here all intact, in one piece. I think I need to better align some of these rear flares, because I think the driver's side one had actually come undone. I think I didn't line it up properly when I retorqued the wheels and put it on. But yeah, so I'll probably just do like a quick little calculation in terms of what the gas mileage was, how much fuel I used, but definitely under 2 fill-ups, because yeah, this has got here under a single tank, and it got there under a single tank. But yeah, I guess thanks for watching this little experiment in terms of driving out to Vancouver with the Insight, and I guess as a little reward, as a sneak peek, to show you what it got, is that. So you'll probably see this in an upcoming S2000 video. But this is my new ASM front bumper that I'm going to be putting on the car. If you kind of remember, I have the Voltex one on the car before. I have that off right now, and I just have the OEM front bumper on. But yeah, this is the look that I'm kind of changing towards. So yeah, that'll be another video as well.